everyone, Tiffany here with another cosplay tutorial, and on this Tiff's Tips episode, we're going to be going over how I made my Mina Ashido shoes from the anime My Hero Academia. And here are some of the reference images that I used for making the shoes. I first put on a pair of Converse, and then wrapped my shoe and half of my leg in saran wrap and masking tape, followed by drawing on my patterns with a Sharpie. I then traced my pattern onto an oxblood color piece of cow leather and cut out with a pair of scissors. And then I sewed the two parts together using a leather sewing needle and my sewing machine, and then cut off the excess material with scissors. You can see here after it's been sewn together and flipped right side out. Next, I wanted to work on the trim of the top part of the boot. For this, I cut out two rectangular strips using a orange pig hide leather. I then sewed this piece to the inside out top part of the red leather. And here's the before and after. I then flipped the leather so it was facing the correct way and trimmed the excess pieces so that way it would all meet flush. Due to COVID-19, I was unable to go to an actual store to buy buttons that would match what I wanted. So I found some nasty green fabric buttons, and I ended up mixing some acrylic paint and painting them to match closely the color that I needed. To sew the buttons to the leather, I first punched holes into each piece and then tied it together using leather thread, followed by lacing up the orange part of the boot. To ensure that the knots would not come loose, I used leather weld glue, which is my absolute favorite type of glue because it dries soft and clear. When all the glue is dry, I then flipped the orange part of the boot right side out, and then I wanted to color the white thread an orange color with acrylic paint. For the sole of the shoe, I traced my pattern onto 10mm EVA foam and cut out using an Excel blade. I did the same step with the orange and the red leather as well. I then applied contact cement glue to both sides of the EVA foam and to the back side of the leather pieces. Once the glue was dry, I attached the leather pieces to the EVA foam, having the orange piece for the inside part of the shoe and the red piece of leather for the outside because it had a little bit more of a texture and could have more grip. I then put the sole of the shoe inside the sewn up piece of leather, and I marked with a Sharpie where they both aligned. Next, I applied contact cement glue to the outside part of the sole, as well as to the inside part of the sewn boot. And once all of the glue was dried, I attached the two pieces together. I then trimmed the excess piece of leather, as well as applied a little bit of contact cement glue in any of the pieces that weren't fully attached. For the toe and the heel details of the boots, I cut my pieces out of the orange leather, as well as cutting out a smaller piece of that shape onto a piece of cardboard. And here, I used a Ziploc baggie box. Here's all the pieces once they're cut out. And then I applied contact cement glue to all of the back sides of the leather and the Ziploc baggie boxes, and once the glue was dry, attached them together. I then traced using a Sharpie where the orange leather would meet the red leather, and again applied a lot more contact cement glue. And when both pieces were dry, I attached them together. I repeated the same process for the toe portion of the shoe. For the strips that go around the bottom part of the shoe, I cut out some more pieces of cardboard, this time using a cereal box, and attached the cardboard pieces to the back part of the leather strips with contact cement glue. And then once again, I applied contact cement glue to the back part of the leather strips, as well as to the bottom part of the boot. And when both pieces were dry, I slowly attached it around the bottom part of the boot. You can see here once it's attached all the way around. And for the little detail black pieces around the bottom part of the shoe, I just used a Sharpie and drew it in about 1.5 inches little pieces a section. And that is how I made my Mina Ashido's shoes from the anime My Hero Academia.